The station floated in the deep black of space like a metal flower. Station Vela 9 was old. It was built long before humans ever left their home planet. The aliens who made it were gone now, but their work remained. Scientists from 12 different species now called this place home. They came here to study one thing, the relic. Pressed her face against the viewing window of the transport ship. She was 23 years old, small in size, with dark hair that she kept in a simple ponytail. Her eyes were wide as she watched the station grow larger. She had dreamed of this moment for years. First time seeing it, asked who sat beside her. Was older, maybe 35. He was a senior researcher and had been to the station twice before. His job was to guide new human scientists and help them understand the work. Yes, said, her voice was soft with wonder. It's bigger than I imagined. Wait until you see the relic, said with a small smile. That's when your mind will really break. The transport docked with a gentle shake, grabbed her bag and followed through the metal corridors. The air smelled strange, like copper and flowers mixed together. Different species passed them in the halls. Some walked on two legs like humans. Others floated. Some crawled on many limbs, tried not to stare, but everything was new to her. They reached the human section of the station. It was small compared to the rest, just a few rooms for sleeping and working. Humans were still new to the galactic community. They had only made contact with other species 40 years ago. Many aliens still thought of them as children, young and simple. Rest tonight, told her. Tomorrow you meet the council, they will explain the rules. Nodded, but she could not sleep that night. She lay in her small bed and thought about why she was here. Back on Earth, she had been a student of ancient history. She loved old things, forgotten things. When she heard about the relic on Vela 9, something inside her woke up. She applied to join the research team. Most people laughed at her. She was young. She had no experience with alien technology, but something made her keep trying. After 3 years, they finally said yes. The next morning took her to the council chamber. It was a round room with seats arranged in circles. Representatives from each species sat in their places. In the center of the room, protected by a clear barrier, sat the relic. Stopped walking, her breath caught in her throat. The relic was beautiful. It was a crystal about the size of a human head but shaped like nothing she had ever seen. It had angles that seemed wrong, curves that twisted in ways her eyes could not follow. The color was hard to describe. It was dark but also bright. It was blue but also silver but also something else entirely. Just looking at it made her feel strange, like she was standing at the edge of a very high cliff. Impressive, yes, said a voice beside her. Turned to see an alien she did not recognize. It was tall and thin, with skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its face. It wore simple robes and stood with perfect stillness. I am Keel, the alien said. I lead the research council. You must be the new human. She said, bowing her head slightly, Thank you for allowing me to be here. Keel made a sound that might have been a laugh. Do not thank me yet. Many on this council think humans are too young for this work. You will need to prove yourself. Felt her face grow warm, but she kept her voice steady. I understand. I will work hard. Keel studied her with all 4 eyes. We shall see. The meeting began. Sat in the human section with and 2 other humans, an older woman with hair and kind eyes, and a young man who looked as nervous as felt. The council discussed the relic, learned many things. The relic was found on a dead planet 200 years ago. No one knew who made it or what it was for. Every species had tried to activate it. The most powerful telepaths in the galaxy had touched it. The greatest scientists had scanned it with every tool they had. Nothing worked. The relic remained dark and silent. It is a door that will not open, Keel said. A message we cannot read. For 2 centuries we have tried everything. The relic ignores us all. Maybe it is just broken, said another alien, a creature made of what looked like living stone. No, Keel replied. Our scans show it is active. Energy flows inside it, It is waiting for something. We simply do not know what. The meeting ended with assignments, was placed on observation duty. Her job was simple: watch the relic and record any changes. It was boring work meant for beginners. Apologize to her later. They do not trust humans with important tasks yet, he said, but do good work and they will notice. Did not mind. She was happy just to be near the relic. She took her place at an observation terminal and began her watch. The crystal sat in its protective case, dark and silent. Hours passed. Nothing happened. Other observers came and went. They were aliens of different kinds, all looking bored. One, a creature with too many arms, actually fell asleep at its station. Could understand why. Watching something that never changed was hard work. But did not feel bored. She felt pulled toward the relic. When she looked at it, she felt like it was looking back. This was crazy, she knew. The relic had no eyes, no face. It was just a crystal, but the feeling would not go away. On her third night of observation, something happened. Was writing notes when she felt a strange warmth on her skin. She looked up. The relic was glowing. It was faint, just a small light deep inside the crystal, but it was definitely there. She checked the sensors. They showed nothing. She looked around the room. The other observers had not noticed. They were busy with their own work or sleeping. Stood up slowly. She walked toward the protective barrier. With each step she took, the glow grew stronger. By the time she reached the barrier, the relic was shining with a soft blue light. She raised her hand without thinking, reaching toward the crystal. The light pulsed. It matched the movement of her hand, growing bright when she moved, fading when she stopped. His heart was beating very fast. She waved her hand left. The light followed. She waved right. The light followed again. That is not possible, she whispered to herself. Behind her, she heard a sharp gasp. She turned to see Keel standing in the doorway, all four eyes wide with shock. "What have you done?" the alien asked. Had no answer. She turned back to the relic. The light had not stopped. It continued to glow, and somehow, impossibly, it seemed to be waiting for her. The news spread through Station Vila 9 like fire through dry grass. By morning, every species on the station knew what had happened. The relic that had been silent for 200 years had finally responded, and it had responded to a human. Sat alone in a small white room. They had brought her here hours ago, asked her to wait, and then left. No one told her what was happening. She could only guess that she was in trouble, though she did not know what she had done wrong. The door opened. Keel entered, followed by three other council members. One was the stone creature from the meeting. Another was a being made of pale light that hurt to look at directly. The third was something could not describe, a shape that seemed to change every time she tried to focus on it. Keel spoke first. "Tell us exactly what happened. Do not leave out any detail." Told them everything. She explained how she had been taking notes, how she had felt the warmth, how the light had appeared and followed her movement. The council members listened without speaking. When she finished, there was a long silence. "You touched nothing?" asked the stone creature. "Nothing," said. "I did not even touch the barrier." "Did you feel anything strange before the light appeared?" asked the being of light. "Thought about it. I felt pulled, like the relic wanted me to look at it, but I thought that was just my imagination." The council members looked at each other. Could not read their expressions, but she sensed they were worried. "We must test this," Keel said finally. "If the relic truly responds to you, we need to understand why." They took back to the observation chamber. It was full of people now, scientists from every species crowding around the protective barrier. The relic sat dark and silent inside its case, looking the same as it always did. When entered the room, everything changed. The relic began to glow. It was not a small light this time. The entire crystal filled with blue radiance, so bright that some of the aliens had to look away. Gasps and strange sounds filled the chamber. Stood frozen, staring at the light. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The warmth she had felt before was stronger now, spreading through her whole body like she was standing in sunshine. "Move to the left," Keel ordered. Stepped left. The light inside the relic shifted, following her movement like a flower following the sun. "Now right." She stepped right, the light followed. "Stop moving." Stopped, the light stopped too, holding steady, waiting. The chamber was completely silent. Every scientist in the room was staring at with shock and confusion. She felt very small under all those eyes. Pushed through the crowd to stand beside her. "Are you okay?" he asked quietly. "I do not know," she admitted. The tests continued for hours. They asked to walk around the room, to raise her arms, to sit down and stand up. Every time she moved, the relic responded. When she left the chamber, the light faded. When she returned, it came back. They brought in other humans to test, stood in front of the relic. Nothing happened, tried next. Nothing. Walked in circles around the barrier. The relic stayed dark. "Only her," the stone creature said, sounding amazed. "Only this one human." "Why?" asked the being of light. "What makes her different?" No one had an answer. They let rest for the night, but the next morning the tests continued. They scanned her body with machines did not understand. They took samples of her blood, her hair, her skin. They asked her hundreds of questions about her life, her family, her history. "Were you ever exposed to alien technology before?" one scientist asked. "No," said. "Do you have any genetic modifications?" "No." "Have you experienced anything strange before coming to this station? Dreams, visions, unusual feelings?" "Thought about it. I always loved old things," she said slowly. "Ancient history, forgotten places. When I was young, I used to dream about finding something lost and bringing it back to the world. But that is not strange. Many humans feel that way." The scientist made notes, but did not seem satisfied. Days passed, then weeks. The tests found nothing special about. Her body was normal. Her mind was normal. There was no scientific reason why the relic should respond to her and no one else. But it did. Every day would enter the observation chamber, and every day the relic would light up for her. It became routine, almost normal. The other scientists started to accept it, even if they did not understand it. Some of them grew resentful, heard whispers when she walked through the halls. Some aliens thought she was hiding something. Others thought humans had cheated somehow, that this was a trick to gain power in the galactic community. "They hate me," said to one evening. Shook her head. "They do not hate you, they are scared. For 200 years they believed the relic would never wake. Now it has, and they do not understand why. Fear makes people unkind." "But I did not do anything," said. "I do not know why it responds to me." Smiled sadly. "Sometimes the universe chooses us for reasons we cannot understand. The question is not why you were chosen. The question is what you will do now." Thought about those words often. She spent more and more time in the observation chamber, sitting near the barrier, watching the relic glow. She started talking to it, even though she knew it could not answer. She told it about her life on Earth, about her parents who had died when she was young, about her dreams and fears. The relic just glowed, steady and warm, like it was listening. One night when the chamber was empty except for her, something new happened. The light inside the relic began to pulse. It was gentle at first, then stronger, forming a pattern. Pulse, pulse, pause, pulse, pulse, pause. Leaned closer. The pattern repeated. She counted the pulses, trying to find meaning. After an hour, she realized something that made her breath catch. The pulses matched her heartbeat. The relic was not just responding to her movement. It was synchronizing with her body. She placed her hand over her heart. Thump, thump. The relic pulsed in perfect time. "What are you?" she whispered. The light grew brighter for just a moment, then settled back down. Did not know if that was an answer or just chance. But she felt, deep in her bones, that something important was happening. The relic was not just awake. It was alive. and somehow, impossibly, it had chosen her. She did not tell the council about the heartbeat. She was not sure why. Maybe she was scared they would take her away from the relic. Maybe she wanted to understand more before sharing. Or maybe she just wanted something that was hers alone, in a place where she always felt like an outsider. That night lay in bed and listened to her own heart. Thump, thump. Somewhere in the observation chamber, she knew the relic was pulsing along with it, waiting in the dark for her to return. 3 months passed on Station Vila 9. The excitement about and the relic had faded into something else. Frustration. They had run every test they could think of. They had studied until she felt like a specimen in a jar, and still they had no answers. The council met every week to discuss the problem, was allowed to attend these meetings now, though she usually sat quietly in the back and listened. Today, the mood was worse than usual. "We are wasting time," said a tall alien with 6 legs and scales like a snake. Its name was, and it led the physics team. "The relic responds to the human, yes, but responding is not the same as communicating. We have learned nothing new." "Patience," Keel said. "These things take time." "We have been patient for 200 years, replied. "Now we have a connection and we are doing nothing with it. I say we try direct contact." The room went quiet. Direct contact meant opening the barrier. It meant letting touch the relic with her bare hands. "Too dangerous," said. She had become protector on the council, always speaking up for her. "We do not know what will happen." "That is exactly why we must try," said. "The relic is clearly waiting for something. Perhaps physical touch is the final step." The debate went on for an hour. Listened, feeling strange. They were talking about her like she was not in the room, like she was a tool to be used rather than a person. She understood why. To them, she was just a key that might unlock a door. Her feelings did not matter as much as the knowledge they might gain. Finally, Keel turned to her. "What do you think?" Everyone looked at her, felt her face grow warm, but she kept her voice steady. "I want to try," she said. "I feel like the relic is trying to tell me something. Maybe touching it will help me understand." The vote was close, but in the end the council agreed. They would attempt direct contact. The preparation took 2 days. They cleared the observation chamber of everything except the relic and its barrier. They set up medical equipment in case something went wrong. They brought in guards, though did not know what they could do against an ancient alien artifact. On the morning of the test, came to see her. "You do not have to do this," he said. "You can say no, no one will blame you." Smiled at him. "I know, but I want to, this feels right." Looked worried, but he nodded. "I will be watching. If anything happens, we will get you out." The observation chamber was full of people when arrived. Scientists, council members, guards, all watching with nervous eyes. The barrier around the relic had been lowered. The crystal sat on its platform, dark and waiting. Walked toward it. With each step, the relic began to glow. By the time she reached the platform, it was shining so bright that the room was filled with blue light. She could feel the warmth on her skin, in her chest, in her heart. She stood in front of the relic and took a deep breath. "Here I go," she whispered. She reached out her hand and touched the crystal. The world disappeared. Was falling through darkness. No, not falling, flying. She was moving through a space that had no up or down, no left or right. Stars rushed past her, millions of them, billions. She saw planets and moons and things she had no names for. She saw galaxies spinning like wheels of fire. And she heard a voice. It was not a voice in the normal way. It did not have words. It was more like a feeling, a thought that pushed into her mind without asking permission. "Who are you?" Did not know how to answer. She did not know if she could, but she tried. She thought about herself, her life, her dreams. She thought about being human, about Earth, about the small blue planet where her species had grown up. The voice was silent for a moment, then it spoke again. "You are young. Your species is very young." Yes, said, though no sound came from her mouth. We are young. We only left our planet recently. But you wonder. You look at the stars and you ask questions. Why? Did not know how to explain. Because we want to understand. We see things we do not know and we want to learn about them. That is who we are. The voice seemed to consider this. The others do not wonder. They seek power. They seek knowledge for control. But you, little one, you seek understanding for its own sake. You look at me and you do not ask what I can do for you. You ask who I am. Realized the voice was right. All this time, she had never thought about what the relic could give her. She had only wanted to know its story. Who are you? She asked. I am a keeper. I was made long ago by a species that has no name anymore. They traveled the stars when your ancestors were still learning to walk. They made me to find those who carry the spark. The spark. Wonder, curiosity, the desire to know for the joy of knowing. Most species lose it as they grow old. They become tired. They stop asking questions. But the spark is precious. It is the seed of all growth, all change, all beauty. Without it, the universe becomes dark. Felt tears forming in her eyes, though she did not know why. Why did you respond to me? There are many humans, why not them? They wonder, but not like you. You carry the spark bright and pure. It burns in you like a star. I felt it the moment you entered this place. I have waited 200 years for someone like you. The darkness around began to change. She saw images now, visions of things that had happened long ago. She saw the keepers being made, millions of crystals sent across the galaxy to wait and watch. She saw species rise and fall, some worthy, some not. She saw the makers of the keepers, tall and beautiful and sad, choosing to leave the universe and pass their work to others. I have much to show you, the voice said, much to teach. But time moves differently here. You must return now or your body will fail. Wait, said, I have more questions. You always will. That is the spark. Come back to me tomorrow and I will show you more. The darkness rushed away, felt herself falling again, faster and faster. She opened her eyes. She was lying on the floor of the observation chamber. Her hand was still touching the relic. The crystal was glowing brighter than ever before, and everyone in the room was staring at her with expressions she could not read. How long? She asked, her voice rough. Keel stepped forward. All four eyes were wide with amazement. 12 hours, the alien said. You have been standing there for 12 hours. We could not wake you. We could not move you. The relic would not let us. Looked at her hand, still pressed against the crystal. It was warm, like holding the hand of a friend. I have so much to tell you, she said. But even as she spoke, she knew she would not tell them everything. Some things were between her and the keeper alone. Some questions were too precious to share. She was no longer just an observer. She was something new, and this was only the beginning. The days that followed first contact with the keeper were the strangest of her life. She spent hours each day with the relic, touching it, learning from it. Each time she made contact, she was pulled into that dark space between stars. Each time, the keeper showed her something new. She saw the history of the galaxy. She learned about species that had risen to greatness and then faded away. She saw wars that had destroyed entire star systems. She saw peace that had lasted for thousands of years. She saw beauty and horror, triumph and tragedy, all the stories of a universe older than she could imagine. But the keeper showed her more than just history. It showed her the purpose of the spark. Wonder is the beginning of all things, the keeper told her. Before a species can build, it must first dream. Before it can discover, it must first ask. The spark is not just curiosity. It is the force that pushes life forward. Without it, species become stagnant. They stop growing. THEY die. Is that what happened to the species who made you? Asked. No, they did not lose the spark. They became something new, something beyond what we can understand. They left this universe for another. But before they left, they wanted to make sure the spark would continue in those who came after. So they made the keepers. Yes, we are their gift to the future. We watch, we wait, and when we find those who carry the spark, we help them grow. Shared some of what she learned with the council. She told them about the makers and their purpose. She told them about the importance of wonder, but she kept some things secret. The keeper had asked her to. There are those who would misuse this knowledge, it had warned her. They would try to control the spark, to use it for power. You must be careful who you trust. The council was not happy with her incomplete reports. Keel called her to a private meeting. You are hiding things, the alien said. It was not a question. Met those four eyes without looking away. I am sharing what I can. Some things are not mine to tell. The relic belongs to the galaxy, Keel said. Not to you. You have no right to keep its secrets. The keeper is not a thing to be owned, replied. It is a being. It chooses what to share and with whom. I am just the messenger. Keel was silent for a long moment. The council is not patient, the alien finally said. There are those who think we should force the information from you, or find a way to make the relic respond to others. Felt a chill run down her spine. What are you telling me? Be careful, not everyone here wishes you well. The warning came at the right time. That night was attacked. She was walking back to her quarters when three figures stepped out of the shadows. They were aliens, species she did not recognize, dressed in dark clothes with faces hidden. One of them held a device that looked like a weapon. Come with us, the first one said. Do not make noise. His heart was pounding, but she kept her voice calm. What do you want? You will tell us everything the relic has shown you. Every secret, every piece of knowledge. Our employers will pay well for this information. And if I refuse? The figure raised the weapon. Then you will not be needed anymore. Closed her eyes. She thought about the keeper, about the warmth she felt when she touched it. She thought about the spark burning bright inside her. Something strange happened. She felt the warmth spread through her body, stronger than ever before. When she opened her eyes, she saw light pouring from her hands, blue and bright like the relic's glow. The attackers stepped back in fear. They wish to harm you, the keeper's voice said in her mind. I will not allow this. The light grew brighter, raised her hands without thinking, and a wave of energy pushed outward. It did not hurt the attackers, but it threw them backward, slamming them against the walls. They fell to the ground, unconscious. Stared at her hands. The light was fading now, but she could still feel it inside her, warm and alive. What happened? She whispered. The bond between us is growing. You are becoming more than you were. This is the gift of the keepers, not just knowledge but power. Station security arrived moments later, drawn by the noise. They found standing over three unconscious attackers, still glowing faintly with blue light. The story spread quickly. The council called an emergency meeting, stood before them, feeling the weight of every eye in the room. What have you become? Demanded. The alien seemed more afraid than angry. I do not know, admitted. The keeper said the bond is growing. It said I am becoming something more. This is dangerous, another council member said. One human with this much power. What if she decides to use it against us? I would never do that, said. How can we trust you? You have already admitted you are keeping secrets. The argument went on for hours. Some wanted to ban from the station. Some wanted to find a way to break her connection with the relic. Some wanted to hand her over to the humans and make her their problem. Through it all, stayed by her side. The older woman held his hand when the council voted on her fate. The vote was close. In the end, Keel stood up and spoke. I have watched this young human since she arrived, the alien said. I have seen her face tests and trials with courage and grace. I do not believe she is a threat. I believe she is what the Keeper says she is, a carrier of the spark. If we push her away, we lose the greatest discovery in 2 centuries. If we trust her, we may learn things that will change the galaxy forever. The vote changed, was allowed to stay. That night she sat alone with the relic. She did not touch it, just sat nearby, feeling its warmth. "Thank you," she said, "for protecting me." The crystal pulsed gently. "You are important, not just to me but to the future. There are others like me across the galaxy. They have been sleeping for a long time, but they are waking now. They feel what I feel. They know that the spark has been found." Felt something inside her shift. What does that mean? It means you are not alone. It means your species is not alone. The time of waiting is over. The time of growing has begun. Did not fully understand, but she felt the truth of the words. Something big was starting. Something that would change everything. She placed her hand on the relic and let the warmth fill her. Whatever came next, she was ready. She had wondered about the stars her whole life. Now the stars were wondering about her. And that, the Keeper told her, was exactly as it should be. 6 months had passed since first touched the Keeper. The galaxy had changed. News of the awakening spread from station to station, planet to planet. The relic on Vela 9 was no longer unique. Across the galaxy, other crystals were waking up, and they were all responding to humans. On a water world called 4, a human engineer named Bora found a Keeper buried in the ocean floor. It had been there for 10,000 years, waiting in the dark. When she touched it, it lit up like a second sun. On an asteroid mining station, a human doctor named discovered a Keeper hidden inside an ancient rock. It had been mistaken for worthless ore for decades, but when walked past it, it began to sing. On Earth itself, deep in a cave that explorers had just discovered, another Keeper waited. When the first human entered the cave, a young boy named who had wandered away from his family, the crystal inside filled with light so bright it could be seen from space. The pattern was always the same. The Keepers only responded to humans, not to any other species, not to the oldest races in the galaxy, not to the most powerful empires, only to the young species that had left their planet just 40 years ago. The galactic community did not know what to make of this. Some were angry, some were scared, some wanted to study the phenomenon, some wanted to destroy the Keepers before they could cause more change. On station Vela 9 stood at the center of it all. She was different now. The bond with her Keeper had changed her in ways she was still learning to understand. She could feel the other Keepers across the galaxy, like distant lights in her mind. She could sense the humans who had awakened them, their sparks burning bright against the darkness. The council called her to a special meeting. This time, it was not just representatives from the 12 species on the station. There were leaders from across the galaxy, appearing through holographic projectors. Hundreds of alien faces stared at her from every direction. "You must explain this," said a voice from somewhere in the crowd. "Why humans? What makes your species so special?" Took a deep breath. She had thought about this question for months. The Keeper had given her the answer, but she had not known how to share it until now. "Humans are young," she began. "We know this. We are children in a galaxy of elders. For a long time I was ashamed of this. I thought being young meant being weak, being simple, being less than others." She paused, gathering her thoughts. But the Keepers do not see youth as weakness. They see it as strength. Old species become tired. They stop wondering. They stop asking why. They look at the universe and see only what they already know. But humans still look at the stars and feel amazement. We still ask questions even when we know we might never find answers. We still dream of things that seem impossible. The room was silent. Every alien was watching her. The makers of the Keepers called this the spark. It is not intelligence. It is not power. It is the simple act of wondering, of looking at something unknown and wanting to understand it. Most species lose this as they grow old, but humans still have it. We burn with it, and that is why the keepers respond to us. A holographic figure stepped forward. It was a being of pure light, one of the oldest species in the galaxy. Its voice was like music. Are you saying that humans are better than us? Shook her head. No, I am saying that humans are different, and right now the galaxy needs what we have. The keepers were made to keep the spark alive. They have been waiting for millions of years for species who still carry it. They found that in us. What do they want? Another voice asked. What is the purpose of this awakening? Looked down at her hands. The blue light was always there now, soft and warm beneath her skin. The keepers want to share what they know. The makers of the keepers left behind knowledge and wisdom that could change everything. New technologies, new ways of thinking, new paths to explore. But they did not want this power given to those who would misuse it. They wanted it given to those who would wonder at it, who would use it to grow and explore and create. She looked up at the crowd. The keepers have chosen humans as their partners, not because we are perfect, but because we still have the capacity to be amazed. We are being offered a chance to become something more, not just as a species, but as part of a galactic community. The question is, will you let us? The debate that followed was long and difficult. Some species refused to accept what's said. They could not believe that the young, simple humans had been chosen for something so important. They demanded more tests, more proof, more explanations. But as the weeks passed, the evidence became impossible to deny. The keepers across the galaxy were sharing their knowledge with the humans who had awakened them. New technologies appeared. New discoveries were made. Human scientists, working with their keepers, solved problems that had puzzled the galaxy for centuries. And something else happened. Other species started to notice the change in the humans they worked with. They saw the wonder in their eyes, the excitement in their voices. They saw how humans approached problems with fresh perspectives, how they asked questions that no one had thought to ask before. Slowly, the wonder started to spread. On Station Vila 9, watched an old alien scientist smile for the first time in decades as a human colleague showed them a new idea. She saw enemies become friends over shared curiosity. She saw the galaxy begin to change. Keel came to her one evening as she sat with her keeper. I did not believe you at first, the alien said. I thought humans were too young, too simple. I thought the Relic had made a mistake. And now asked. All four of Keel's eyes seemed to soften. Now I wonder. For the first time in a very long time, I look at the stars and feel something I had forgotten. Curiosity, hope, the desire to learn and grow. Smiled, that is the spark. I know, Keel said, and I have you to thank for reminding me of it. Later that night, stood alone at a viewing window, looking out at the infinite darkness filled with stars. She felt the keeper's warmth inside her, felt the distant lights of other keepers scattered across the galaxy. You have done well, the keeper said in her mind. It does not feel like I did anything special, replied. I just answered questions and tried to explain. That is exactly what the spark is. ASKING and EXPLANING. Wondering and SHARING. The makers knew that the greatest power in the universe is not weapons or technology. It is the simple ACT of saying, I do not know, but I want to find out. Placed her hand against the cold window. Somewhere out there on planets and stations and ships, other humans were doing the same thing, looking at the stars, wondering. What happens now? She asked. Now you grow, now you explore. Now you take your place among the stars, not as children, but as CARIERS of the flame. The galaxy is old and tired. It needs your wonder. It needs your spark. The road ahead is long, but you will not walk it alone. Closed her eyes and felt the warmth spread through her. She thought about the girl she had been when she first arrived on the station, small and scared and unsure. She was still small. She still got scared sometimes, but she was no longer unsure. She was human. She was a carrier of the spark, and the universe was waiting to be explored. The stars glittered in the darkness, each one a question waiting to be asked, smiled and began to wonder what she would discover next. And somewhere in the depths of the station, her keeper pulsed with warm blue light, proud of the little human who had shown the galaxy how to wonder again.